Okay, sorry about that. I'm kind of just woke up. My name is Douglas Thompson. I'm an Airsoft gun tech. I'm going to be showing you my MP7, and I love this gun. I haven't had too many problems with it. Mostly, the problem I experienced was in the past, and it was the bolt carrier. It broke like in 3 places after about a month of owning it, and that was my first one. I contacted Umarex and they actually replaced it for me promptly. They were even so kind as to include an extra magazine in the deal. So I had 7 magazines and now I have 8. So that's pretty nice. This gun is fully ambidextrous. It really doesn't have any cons in terms of ergonomics. I'd say for left-handers, you kind of get a little bit less comfort because the selector switch is a little bit sharper. I don't know if you'd call it sharper. And the bolt release is a little bit more wobbly, and that actually wobbles when you try to fire the gun. The iron sights it comes with are great. I've had no issues with them. They seem pretty durable. They're not like a crazy good material. They're just like some cheap metal. They're not like steel or anything. But the battle sights, I'm trying to get this in here without touching the camera. Battle sights are great for if you wear a mesh lower face mask, you can actually get in there and see the battle sights. Pistol sights for when you are just using it as a pistol. Let's see if I can get that in there. I'm sorry, it's the top corner, but I don't want to touch the camera like I said. Are great as well, like for when you're just holding it as a pistol. But when you have the stock extended, those battle sights are great. The foregrip is a little bit wobbly, but from what I know on the real version, it is too. So it's not anything that the Airsoft version lacks. But it is great. Like once it's fully engaged, it's solid. It's not going anywhere. I've heard of these breaking off if you hit them like at the very end, like on a if you're running like full bore and you hit it on something. But chances are if you're using it, if you're using your gun in a high speed sort of situation, the risks, and you don't have really any room to complain if something breaks if you run it into a wall. These things are not built to throw. They're not built for blunt force. So yeah, I mean it's a relatively inexpensive gun. I got this for $230 out the door. I was also an Airsoft gun tech at the place I was working at, but from the company, you can get them for like $270 or something. And then if you want to get them used, I've seen them as low as like $150 with a magazine. Package deals for like $200, $300 for with multiple magazines. Magazines are plentiful. They're great magazines. As I said, I have 8 of them. I have a maintenance video on this if you want to check it out. Very good magazines. They're 40 rounds each for the extended magazines, and then the short magazines are 20 rounds each. I recommend the extended so you can kind of compete with the AEGs and whatnot. You want to keep this thing on semi-automatic though. Even though the rate of fire is great on full automatic, it's excellent. I think it's around 900 to 1,000 on a hot day, probably more. But overall, I can't say enough good things about the action of the gun. The recoil is not very powerful, but you're not buying this gun for the recoil. You're buying it for probably just the ergonomics and the overall size of the weapon and the features. There are upgrade options available for this gun. They have anything ranging from mock suppressors that increase your velocities and your accuracy. down to like I think they have hammer sets to make it to where like they're steel hammer. They used to have a bolt carrier, and they don't offer the bolt carrier anymore. It used to be a steel bolt carrier from RA Tech, and what was happening is the bolt carrier was so heavy that the back end where these pins are, it was snapping off the back end, and that's not really a good thing. So they stopped making those, and you can still find them. And if you have some way to reinforce your back end, if you're good with your hands making stuff, I'm sure like there could be a way to reinforce that. Either way, I'll show you the disassembly in a second here, or the field strip. I'm not going to do a full disassembly. That I'll save that for maybe if someone wants to see that. But the field strip is just these two body pins. They're both the same length, and you can insert them from either side, and they're great actually because they're really high quality. I'll show you they're like retention pins. They have like a little spring thing in there to help keep them in place while they're the gun is vibrating and stuff. I've taken the front rails off because I don't really use them. There's nothing wrong with them. They didn't break or anything. They're great. The hop-up adjustment is actually in this hole right here. It comes with a tool. You can turn it left to right depending on if you want hop up or hop down. The magazine release is right here. It's also ambidextrous. It's right here on this side, right here on this side. And it's really positive engagement. Like the magazines don't wobble much. When it's in there, it's in there. It's one of the nicest features of the gun, really, because it's really quick and easy. So I'm going to get down to the disassembly or the field stripping of the gun. So you can take pretty much anything, and my neighbors are arguing next door. They're somewhat ghetto. Anyway, so just hit the camera and see if we can continue on with this. Okay, so you can take a punch, just punch them out, or you can even take a screwdriver or whatnot. There we go. Those pop out. As you can see, they're just ready to be pulled or plucked. Put those aside. Again, they are the same length. And here's the retention thing I was talking about. See right there? It's actually a little spring or something like that. So to remove the back end, you need to lift up on this side and this side. And this is actually one of the features that is not ambidextrous about the weapon, actually, now that I think about it. So you pull it out, and then the charging handle comes out as well with the bolt carrier and the stock and the recoil spring. You can go ahead and set this aside for now. And here's the bolt carrier, and it's a very nice little bolt. It's a very small bolt, not much recoil. I've had not many problems with it. You can see there's a bit of wear, but that's over thousands of rounds. This is the recoil spring, very nice quality. It's a nice steel recoil spring. Charging handle, they have replacement parts like everywhere for this gun, and they're really cheap to obtain. The stock is actually very good quality steel too. I don't have a magnet to test it out. These holes on the bottom, I think on the actual version, are to retain the pins. As you can see, they don't actually fit on the Airsoft version. You can drill them out and make it to where they do fit, but it's not really important. Like if you're going to be opening this gun up, chances are you're going to have it on a bench or something. You're not going to want to do it on the field. If you have to do it on the field, there's something wrong, and then you most likely want to just call yourself out and call it a day until you get your stuff fixed. So for the reinsertion, you just want to make sure and line up these points in the inside of the frame. You'll see exactly where they go if you were actually holding the gun. There's no question about it. You want to just line up the bolt with the bolt. Oh, there goes my bolt inside. The bolt tracks. and the recoil spring is kind of pushing it forward. So you want to make sure it's kind of got some downward pressure until the charging handle is actually inside the receiver. Pop those closed. Again, these can be inserted from the left or the right. Usually I just insert it on whatever side the gun is facing when I'm working on it. Those slide in there. That's good to go. You want to check the function of the gun. Other than that, other than what I've stated, there's not really much more I can say about the gun besides I love it, and it's a great quality gun for the price. And I will say I wouldn't trust these sling mounts. I don't ever use this gun with a sling, but the sling mounts, which are ambidextrous, I think would break. And that's just my opinion. I haven't heard about that or seen anything about that. I just don't trust them. But this is my sort of semi-in-depth review, and to go over the features of the gun. It's great. So my name is Douglas Thompson. I hope you enjoyed my review, and I hope you learned something from this video. Thank you.